As much as life has changed over the last year, you're still pretty busy, so consider convenient COVID-19 testing from Quest. Get the same tests hospitals use without a doctor visit. Simply order online, select from drive-through or at-home options, and get results sent securely to your phone or computer. It's a great fit for your busy life. With over 25 million COVID-19 tests processed, you can count on Quest. So order your test today at questcovid19.com. That's questcovid19.com. With Masterclass, you can learn from the world's best minds anytime, anywhere, at your own pace. Learn how to ace your opponent from Serena. Improve your writing skills with Neil Gaiman. Learn how to negotiate with Chris Voss. All right. Those were the courses I chose, but you'll have over 90 classes to make your own choice, and they're all taught by world-class instructors. Now, of course, the master instructor, Dr. Neil Degrasse Tyson, has a masterclass of his own on scientific thinking and communication, and we all know how important that is in these times. I'm not the only one who's benefiting from my masterclass. My brother is an avid tennis player, and I sent him the gift of a subscription so he could get schooled by Serena. Did I tell him that it was a part of my subscription? Well, let's just say the answer rhymes with ho, ho, ho. From learning how to write anything from a book to a screenplay, to communicating with your boss, to how to make dinner worthy of a Michelin star or just the best scrambled eggs this side of a jumpy chicken, there's a master class for you. I'm in the middle of a course on sex and communication because I'm good at one of those things. Masterclass is accessible on your phone, web, or smart TV. You can get an annual membership to Masterclass and give one to someone else for free. Get unlimited access to every Masterclass for you and a friend right now. Just go to masterclass.com/StarTalkRadio. That's masterclass.com/StarTalkRadio.
Welcome to Star Talk, your place in the universe where science and pop culture collide. Star Talk begins right now. This is Star Talk Sports Edition. And for this installment, we're going to talk about the physics of baseball. Physics of baseball. You probably don't often see those two words in the same place. Now, I know a little bit about physics, but I don't know as much about the physics of baseball as my good friend, Bill Nye. Special guest today, Bill.
Neil,
Dude,
greetings.
Welcome to Star Talk Sports Edition. And I got my co-host, Gary O'Reilly. Gary?
Hi, Neil.
Not
Hi,
that you
Bill.
chop liver. Sorry, I had to introduce Bill.
No. Bill takes priority. I'm good with that.
And where did you send Chuck today? Did you banish him somewhere?
No, we haven't banished Chuck. Chuck has found gainful employment.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So,
he's a comedian. He's got to tell jokes when he can.
Doing his thing, man, and good luck to him.
Especially during COVID.
Yeah.
Well, Bill, not many people know that we may know you're a fan of baseball, but you've actually studied it on almost a sabermetric level. And so almost. At our conversations, it's kind of smelled that way. And so I didn't want to do this show without your expertise just lacing everything that Gary and I talk about. But then I realized, okay, to do this right, I mean, I played Little League, but we need somebody who's actually in the sport. And if we couldn't get an MLB person, let me get the next best thing. I got a college baseball coach who also happened to be my trainer, DJ Price. DJ, welcome to Star Talk.
Hey, what's up, Neil? How you guys doing?
Long time welcome back to Star Talk. This is not your first appearance.
It's second time.
Second time
here.
And look, he's fine. He's fine.
So you're a coach. Where are you a coach right now?
Barry University. I'm assistant coach there.
Assistant coach
in Florida, North Miami.
And they're Division II?
Division II, yes.
Division II. And you said where do they rank in that in recent years?
Last year before the COVID hit, they were up in the top 15 in the country. And 9-0, they were undefeated. They were going through a pretty good time, and then everything hit. But they were leading the country in most offensive categories, which is a big deal.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, okay. Very, very cool. Well, glad to have you on this. We're going to tap you in case Bill says something that doesn't feel right, we're going to get your reaction to it, okay?
It's not often I get an opportunity to override Bill Nye. So I'll take advantage.
Well, no, you're a street view of what Bill Nye says, because Bill's going to hand us some science. And Bill, lately, I haven't caught up with you lately. You've got a new podcast, Science Rules. Great title. So what's the format of that?
One of my oldest turns of phrase, science rules. So the format is we have guests on and we talk about science. We had Jennifer
Really?
Doudna on just the other day.
Wait, who's the we? You say we have guests.
Me and Corey. It is Corey S. Powell and I. And
Corey, so he's your co-author on a couple of books.
Yeah, so if you students of Corey S. Powell's, he helped me edit books that I've written, and he's a very funny guy, and we co-host the podcast. And he also is one of the co-producers. He does the pre-interviews, finds people, we discuss.
So you just show up for the recording, that's what you're saying.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that's the word you're looking for, Bill. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. But
and are you going on 20 years now as the CEO of the Planetary Society?
10 years, Neil. 10 years. Tempus fugit, but not quite that.
Well, this is the organization co-founded by Carl Sagan and two others, so quite the mantle to be ascending to there. Well, just congratulations on all of that. So in this first segment, we're talking about baseball as a contact sport. And normally it is the last thing ever mentioned when people give the list of contact sports. But of course, as Bill is introducing here, ball hits bat, pitcher hits batter. There's contact.
Well, apparently the worst
play at the plate. There's contact.
The worst contact in sports is the play at the plate, where one guy has almost no pads on, the other guy is trying to find the ball while this other human is hurtling toward him at 15 miles an hour or whatever the heck. If you play catcher, people.
Well,
if you play catcher,
which I used to do,
be sure to have your left foot or whatever it is, your back foot, parallel to the third baseline. So when the guy slides into your leg, you fold at the knee.
And you don't bust up your knee.
You don't go sideways across your knee. This is.
I was bigger than all people sliding into
details.
Me, so they fell backwards.
Well, back in the day, they used to call the catcher's equipment the tools of ignorance. So.
I'm pretty sure they still do, DJ.
Wait, so let's start organizationally here. So, Bill, if someone is throwing a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, because lately they've been clocking the speed, the exit velocity of the ball, or at least the ball upon leaving the bat. And all the home runs seem to be 103, 106, 107 miles an hour. Is that all I need? If I just make sure the ball leaves my bat at that speed and at the right angle, am I basically getting a home run, no matter how big and bulky and strong I am?
Yeah, but you just threw in offhandedly, and at the right angle. Yeah,
okay. Excuse me.
That's like a thing. So everybody in a non-apocryphal story from the story of Neil and Bill. One day Neil's going musing, blah, 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 assuming a level swing. Okay, hold it. There's two different things in hitting, DJ. There's hitting and there's hitting for power. Yeah. So hitting, you're aiming the ball someplace, trying to get it around defenders, over the defender's head, down the line so the defender has to run towards you while you're running past him and things like that. But then hitting for power, you have to hit it at an angle that is going to take it up over the fence.
But Bill, does that mean I don't have to be big and burly to do that?
No, that's the mystery of, for example, from my Seattle fandom days, Ichiro Suzuki, who went on to play, they all do, went on to play for the Yankees. But this is a pretty small guy who could hit home runs. Yeah.
Wait. So DJ, you're a burly guy, right? You have girth. And so when I think of you holding a bat, I think this guy's powerful. I should back up. But then, like Bill is saying, you get Ichiro, you get Altuve, you get people who are little. Red Sox had a few little people who hit. Who's the guy with the Red Sox?
Mookie Betts, who's now on the Dodgers.
No, but also the second baseman,
Dustin Pedroia.
Dustin Pedroia. Okay, these guys can punch the ball, hit triples, hit doubles. I don't care if there's a green monster out there. So Bill, is it just some kind of mythology that you need to be big, or do you just have to move the bat with precision and with speed?
Well, that's all you have to do is move it with precision and speed. Yep. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
we're done here.
In general, big guys can wait. Guys who are stronger can wait a little longer to bring the bat around and direct the ball. But if you're strong, you can muscle the bat around later in the pitch.
That's not muscle, it's just speed. It's just reflex.
Well, okay,
right?
but the bat has mass, and so you're going to overcome its inertia with strength.
Okay.
And I think it was Isaac Newton who said that.
A lot of little guys actually have, some incredible
bat speed. Yeah.
Which adds to that. Altuve has got some incredible bat speed, and with his size, you would think that most balls probably would be high to begin with, and because he's getting such good bat speed and a little bit of angle upwards, because not to say that he's short, but he is a little shorter. Given him the right ball, he could definitely send it a long way.
By the way, so Bill, how about at the point I make contact with the ball, how important is my musculature?
I don't think it's that important. It's the mass of the bat. It's the mass of the bat that's going to...
So you're saying if I use a lighter bat, but I can get high speeds?
Well, this is the great controversy. So furthermore, also in addition, to continue, what's happening is people are selecting thinner and thinner bat handles so that the bat has a springiness. If you were somehow allowed to play baseball with some magical tennis racket, some racket that could handle, I guess that's a pun, that could deal with
accommodate
more flex, accommodate, you could really launch the ball much, much farther than is currently possible. Compare and contrast jumping up and down off a sidewalk with jumping up and down off a trampoline. So a bit like a hockey stick,
a bit like an ice hockey stick, where it's got that, it's composite, but it's got that flexibility in there. Is that the sort of thing you're talking about?
Yeah, so if you're allowed to do that, then furthermore also...
But you're saying the spring would give it a little extra push.
Yeah. But so what happens then, another not-for-nothing effect is people are wearing batting gloves, and so they have a thickness. The pads on the gloves have a thickness. So then people are selecting even narrower bat handles and able to get more flex. But
wait, is this why the bats are breaking? Because now...
Then you get bats breaking. You look at Babe Ruth's bat from back in the day.
It's a tree trunk.
Yeah, it's a hickory. Well, it is. It's a so-called hickory stick.
Desperate Dan.
And you had to be quite strong to bring that bat around.
And they definitely match the bats to the player now, too. So
in what way? What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, based on size, weight, what the bat speed of the individual is, you can kind of gauge what kind of bat they can handle before they break it or the ball breaks it, and how they can get maximum amount of speed. They cut the tops out to give it a little bit less ounces, more ounces.
Why not just go all the way and cork them?
Right.
Corking doesn't work.
I agree with that. It doesn't.
No.
It would take away some of the mass of the bat.
Well, not just. Here's the problem with corking. Our perception might be cork is springy. So if you put springy material in the bat, then you would get some of that spring, some of that energy storing to the ball as it left the bat. But it doesn't work because the ball is in contact with the bat for such a short amount of time. Barely 1,000th of a second. The energy doesn't have time to get into the cork and back out. And plus you lose a tremendous amount at the interface where the cork would touch the wood. So for people out there trying this, it doesn't work.
When I remembered the corking back in the 70s.
Well, it's been going on since the 1800s, apparently.
Really? Okay. Then in my day, one of the rationales was that you still have the bulk of the bat, but you made it lighter.
Well, you can drill all the freaking holes in the bat you want, but then you weaken it and it will shatter in another way.
But then why not just use a lighter bat?
So if you get it too light, then it fails. It breaks. This is the magical thing about baseball, everybody. This is what everybody loves about it, is after a century and a half of dinking around, things are just dialed in where it just barely works. It just barely doesn't work. And it's a game of thousandths of inches. And it's just every pitch is a statistic. It's a game for nerds. So the thing about the bats that makes me a little crazy, how about this rule, DJ? If your bat breaks, you're out. How about that?
I would
break your bat.
That sounds like a pretty good rule. I mean, it'd be interesting.
Then
that sounds like an angry parent, Bill.
Well, then everybody's
you broke that bat.
You break your toy.
You got to go and sit on the naughty step.
Well, and that's why we can't have nice things.
Hey, take a step back, Bill. You talked about Altuve, and I'll also do the Aaron Judge comparison. For them, the strike zone is in a different place because one's 5'5", the other's 6'5". 7 even. Does Altuve have an advantage because he can get his bat below a possible ball that's coming in?
Books have been written, as I like to remark. The answer is absolutely, without question, it depends.
Good.
So the reason both of these guys are having success at the major league level is they have compensated for the large strike zone by being a huge guy who can bring the bat around really fast, and for having a small strike zone by being a smaller guy who can bring the bat around really fast. And so...
But it also sounds like, Bill, that if you're small, then that shrinks the strike zone. So then the pitcher has to be more accurate, and you don't have to be able to swing in more places than the big guy.
Except you can't reach as far as the big guy. So the pitcher then has a bigger strike zone, but it's a bigger guy
corners,
swinging a bigger
away and stuff like that. Yeah.
And we're getting into where the gray areas where it depends. And I just want to go on and on about these kids today and the bats. Okay? So on a baseball bat is a label, a brand. And skilled craftspeople in Kentucky making bats put the brand so that the grain is oriented to strike the ball edge on. And so back when I was a Seattleite, lived there for 26 years, big Mariner fan, big Seahawks fan, I met with none other than Chuck Armstrong, who was president, not CEO, not owner, president of the Mariners organization, to give a little talk to these kids today about branding a bat. So I had this very demonstration. So the grain of the bat is oriented that way. They put the label there so that you strike the ball edge on. If you hit the ball this way, the bat will flex and ultimately fail because the grains will be moving against each other. They'll be sliding in shear, as it's called. So,
can I show that to some of my college players?
Absolutely. For fun.
But they don't know the TJ.
No, it's something.
It's something I'm trying to explain to them for you.
I won't call
could
it
it be
lost
that
in antiquity.
Could it be that they came out of high school with aluminum bats, and so they don't have to think about this at all?
So the reason we can't have
to be explained for sure.
So Gary, you made reference to parents getting arms akimbo about these kids breaking their toys. Mm-hmm. If you're a parent, breaking bats is expensive. You have to go buy bats. If you're running a little league team or the next level up high school team and you're breaking bats, it's just like it's too expensive. So that's why it went to aluminum bats. Now you can engineer an aluminum bat to have a tremendous amount of flex.
Yeah.
And I played softball with a guy who got hit in the face with a ball that was just screaming, a third baseman, because it was just screaming because there was a few years of sort of lack of regulation in the springiness of the bats.
Yeah.
And so...
But he got hit in the face with a ball that was hit by an aluminum bat.
A guy with an aluminum bat playing softball where you're
wasn't hit in the face with aluminum bat. I just want
not the bat. That would be very troubling. So anyway, that's why all the way through college, people play with aluminum bats. Then if you're an outstanding player and you get an opportunity to play in the majors with a wooden bat, you're not familiar with this notion of branding the bat and taking into account the mechanical properties of the wood.
DJ, what do your players use?
We use aluminum at the level, but most of them use wood during the summer. Just so that the scouts and coaches can get an opportunity to see what they're capable of doing with an actual bat
in a real situation. Yeah, okay.
But even at that level, you're talking. I mean, it's dangerous. I mean, it's super dangerous. I think all college ball should go to wood. To be honest with you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Why is it dangerous? What's dangerous?
The speed you can get off the bat or the pitch ball. So the pitcher has. Think about it. There are pitchers in the major leagues that are getting hit in the head, and the ball is coming fractionally slower than it would be in college when they're using metal, and they're all prospects to that level. So you got a guy that's equivalent to an Aaron Judge that's 6'6", 6'7", that's 260, and he hits a ball with an aluminum bat at a pitcher. That he's got no reaction time. There's no way that he's getting.
So, Bill, back to your original point, if baseball has become or has always been this game of inches and microseconds, and so the slightly better bat will kill the pitcher, right?
Well, just that the pitcher stands that close has always been marvelous to me.
Because when you see them catch a ball that is back to them, it's like, oh my gosh. Any fraction of a second faster, or if they're slower, the ball faster, they slower, they lose their head.
You got to wave at it, as they say. Yeah, so anyway, aluminum bats can be tuned or engineered so that they don't have this crazy springiness, but then they get unesthetic. They get heavy. They get heavy in the wrong way. And so this gets into the whole wooden bat controversy. But, by the way, Gary, there's a guy in cricket called the silly mid-off.
Yes, it's a fielding position.
Yeah, it's also, what are you doing? You're standing right in front of a guy with a wooden club and a ball's going 100 miles an hour.
The clue's in the clue is quite simply their silly position.
Yeah, and so he doesn't wear gloves in cricket. They don't wear gloves. They haven't thought of that. Anyway,
we thought about it and we just said no.
No, the only guy, the wicket keeper, is allowed to do something.
That's right. Anyway. And you are a bowler in cricket can reach over 100 miles an hour because you are using the ground as another part of.
Well, we're going to get to that in the next segment. We're going to talk about the making of a pitch, and I've had long conversations with Bill about this, and I still don't understand.
You want to throw it with your legs, to Jared's point.
So when we come back, Star Talk Sports Edition, the physics of baseball with Bill Nye.
Exploring the secrets of the cosmos is a fascinating pursuit, but have you discovered the vast and incredible potential of your own mind? Introducing Advanced Nootropic Formula from V-Thrive, the Vitamin Shop brand. Available at vitaminshop.com or your local Vitamin Shop store. This stimulant-free formula supports cognitive function, neuron development and repair, and brain-derived nootropic factor to promote the survival of existing neurons and encourage growth of new synapses. Non-GMO Advanced Nootropic Formula features clinically studied ingredients like Synapsa for peak cognitive performance, Cognizant for mental energy, focus, and attention, and clinically proven in extra so you can stay extra sharp. In fact, you may experience an improvement in alertness for up to 5 hours. As always, all V-Thrive, the Vitamin Shop brand products, are simply clean with no magnesium, stearate, stearic acid, or titanium dioxide. Advanced Nootropic Formula comes with a quality promise you can trust with ingredient purity and potency verified by independent third-party labs. The best part? It's on sale. Save 15% on purchases of $40 or more when you use code STARTALK at vitaminshop.com today. Again, that's 15% off purchases of $40 or more with code STARTALK on vitaminshop, SHOPPE.com to expand your mental universe today. Are you always taking care of your family? Do you often take care of others and not yourself? Well, now's the time to take care of yourself because you deserve it. Teladoc gives you access to licensed therapists to help you get back to feeling your best, to feeling like yourself again. Sometimes we don't know how much we need to talk to somebody. Take it from me personally. During the entire pandemic, I have had virtual sessions, and it has been such an incredible help. Now, with Teladoc, you can speak to a licensed therapist by phone or video. Therapy appointments are available 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. local time. Hey, maybe you're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe you feel stressed or anxious or depressed or lonely, or you might be struggling with a family issue. Teladoc can help. No need to wait months to get a therapist. Teladoc is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy to change counselors if needed for free. Teladoc therapy is available through most insurance or employers, and individual plans are also available. Download the app or visit teladoc.com/StarTalk today to get started. TELADOC.com/StarTalk.
We're back. Star Talk, Sports Edition, the physics of baseball. Got Gary O'Reilly. Gary.
Hey, Neil.
Yeah, we lost Chuck. He's on a gig.
Yep.
You tell me, so that's good. We'll check,
it's good
check
for
him
him.
out on the next. Good for him. Check him out on the next round. I've got with me my trainer, I guess former trainer, because he moved to Florida, DJ Price. DJ. I have you on not because you were my former trainer, but because I know you are baseball crazy man, and
every day, all day.
Every day you bleed baseball, right? So, and just to have a ground truth on this conversation we're having with Bill Nye, who's sharing with us his sort of life's thinking and expertise on basically the physics of baseball. And Bill, you and I have had conversations about what pitchers do when they throw the ball. Right? They're not just throwing the ball. Some other kinematic, biophysiological thing is going on. So could you just lay this out for us, what's going on the mound?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm an expert on that. No, everybody, Gary.
Yes.
You're of British descent, and so you grew up playing cricket.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah, and
well, he's on here because he's a former professional soccer player.
But I'm familiar with. I have held a bat and had things thrown at me.
Yeah. So in cricket,
not necessarily at the same time.
At the same time. Right?
Go on, Bill. Sorry.
No, it's all good. In cricket, you all allow the bowler, as he's called, to. I presume there's some bowlers to bounce the ball off the ground.
Yeah.
Right.
Although you can bowl a full toss, so it gets to the wicket or the batsman without touching the ground. But generally, they incorporate the ground, and this then adds another layer of physics to the whole affair.
Well, here's the thing that happened. I'm sure early on, cricketers discovered that the bowler could just overwhelm the batter, could just do anything to the batsman could not routinely handle the bowled ball.
Yep.
So they made a rule that the bowler has to keep his elbow straight. Okay.
Oh, to reduce the range of damage they can commit.
Yeah. Okay. That's another. Okay, fine. But what the bowler can do is run, use his legs. And so there's an old saying, and DJ, let me just see if this is a true fact or what I whimsically call a false fact. Ha, ha, ha. That you throw with your legs.
Agreed. Totally agreed.
What you want to do to deal with this in U.S. baseball, originally U.S. in baseball, they allowed you to push off a fixed object, which is traditionally called the pitching rubber. Also in the rules is called the pitcher's plate. You push with your back leg while you throw, but you're allowed to bend your elbow. So it's the different rules for throwing, but in all of this, the key to it is how you grip the ball. Or a very important aspect of it, rather, is how you grip the ball.
Relative to the stitches, or how you grip the ball no matter what?
With respect to the stitches, right. So this is the four seam where you see all four seams. Mm-hmm. Then you can hold it here and you see two seams, 1, 2, 1, 2. Or you hold it a little crooked and you get the curve ball, you get the slider, and then people who spend hours and hours at this throw it with hardly any spin on it with the fork ball. And then when with hardly any spin, the stitches catch the air in spectacular ways and make it fly funny.
Wait, what's the difference between a fork ball and a knuckle ball?
You can grip the fork ball much more tightly. when you're trying to throw a knuckleball, you're barely hanging on. And so you just can't throw it you can't snap your wrist with the same oomph.
So it's a faster knuckleball.
All right, so Bill, okay, so they hold it all these ways. The whole goal is for the batter to not hit the ball, right?
Yes.
That's the entire goal. So you want to fool the batter.
Yes.
Right? So you are using certain aerodynamic principles in your favor to help you fool the batter, because the batter's brain sees it as just this object coming towards them that might do normal things that gravity would do to it. But you are now exploiting what the air could do, confusing my Newtonian expectations for the ball. Is that a fair characterization?
Sure. I just, DJ, how many times as a coach have you mentioned, okay, listen, people, we want to confuse our Newtonian expectations.
I'm going to use that today.
I mean, it's just it's an old
can you
baseball expression.
Can you zoom me in for that one? Because I want to see how that goes down.
I can't wait to see how everybody looks back at me.
So
what? That's something new.
And so consider the following. These are pictures from one of my favorite books, An Album of Fluid Motion. And you talk about fun. Anything that flows.
That was on the bestseller list recently, I saw.
Yeah, sure it was. Anything that flows is a fluid. So here is a sphere in a fluid. The fluid's going by. It's a ball in water. And you see these pulses, poo, 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 poo. It's shedding vortices, just like a whistle. Oh, you can't whistle on Zoom. It's shedding pulses. But if we affix a tripwire, this little wire, then you see how much more smooth the flow downstream is.
A tripwire to make texture to the surface.
Yeah, and what it does, the way I describe it, is it causes molecules to tumble. And when they tumble, they shear, they go past each other, and their interaction changes and they flow more smoothly. So then, in the ultimate amazing ultitivity of great amazingness, whoa, where is it? Here we go. We put a baseball in a wind tunnel with streams of smoke, and you see where the stitch has tripped the boundary layer. It sticks to the ball much more smoothly. Where the stitch is downstream of the boundary layer of the free stream, it causes the tumble. So this interaction of smoothness versus tumbling causes changes in pressure on each side of the ball, and it flies funny, and it's hard to hit. And pitchers and bowlers exploit this. They go crazy for this.
Okay, we have to assume that the inventors of baseball didn't have fluid dynamics in mind at the time. They just tried to stitch a freaking ball together. So what you're saying is that...
they discovered the properties of this like that. My goodness.
But what if, Neil, and I think we've had Meredith Wills, who's a physicist herself, did a little bit of an investigation, and the thread they used in the stitches was something like 10% or so thicker.
Yeah, she was accounting for the higher the higher home run.
That's right.
Rate.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Bill, what's up with that?
Yeah.
So different leagues are allowed to use different stitches.
Ooh.
In general, the younger the players are, the higher the stitches, which gives.
You mean the more raised they are?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, just maybe that's absolutely true. The younger the players, the higher the stitches, the thicker the thread, which enables the pitchers to learn to to exploit this more readily. Then in the major league, the stitches get quite thin, and this demands more of the pitcher. He has to have more skill. And when I've hung out with these guys, and DJ, you must know more, they just walk around the clubhouse all day, snapping their fingers to get this strength. So they can,
and testing to see how the ball moves when they do it too. So they can get different angles and they're trying new things all the time. Putting pressure on one finger will give you one effect. Putting pressure on another finger will give you another, completely opposite effect, just like that. But you're also talking about length of fingers. Like Mariano Rivera, for example, had one finger that was longer.
A Yankee, by the way.
Yeah,
just saying.
And he picked that up because one day, one of his coaches was telling him just to throw it with a little bit more pressure on another finger, and he wasn't getting as much run. And then he told him, just throw it the way you normally throw it. And then all of a sudden his ball started running because he wasn't putting the pressure on the finger that was longer, and he was just using it, and it was staying on the ball longer, and then creates the best pitch in baseball, the cut fastball.
Wait. What do you mean he had a long finger? What
like
finger
his finger was abnormally longer than most.
Wait. So, you sound like he only has one finger. So please, which finger are you talking about?
The fingers he puts on the ball. So he had two fingers on the ball. His one finger, his middle finger, may have been a little bit longer than most pitchers,
so he gets to stay in contact with the ball as it rolls out of his hand longer, and therefore give it a little extra push.
Right, and he gets, and that's where he got his cut fastball from, and it was just by accident.
DJ, tell us about the cut fastball.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's relative to where you have release on the ball and pressure on the ball. So what we're doing is fastball is always over the top. All right, you're not trying to go to one side or the other side. You're trying to get over the top, but usually the fingers are close together. All right, and some guys throw it right down the middle where they have the small end of the horseshoe. Some guys put a little bit more curve on the outside. All they're doing is throwing it just like a fastball, but the ball would come off a little bit left or right. And
DJ, am I right in saying that is considered probably the most difficult thing or skill to execute in the world of sport?
Based on Mariano Rivera, I would totally agree. Because he had.
So that's what they call the cutter. That's what they call the
cutter. He had two pitches. He had a cutter and a fastball. And it was hard to dictate which one was coming because his release point was identical. So he always let go of the ball at a certain place. So that's where hitters are trying to get a little bit of an idea of where the ball's coming out based on release point, angles of the hand, what part of the hand you see. He always let go of his fastball like this. So he came over the top and off, but it depended on which pressure he had given more to that finger, and then the ball would run.
You're not going to read that from the plate, are you?
No. You don't read it until it's too late. And that's why he broke a massive amount of bats. I mean, you would watch him and he would be breaking bats left and right because you're seeing fastball in your brain. And normally with breaking pitches and changeups and slower pitches, there's a light that goes off, this emergency. Hey, that's not the same. Stay back, right?
Yeah.
So then you fight it off. You do something different. But when his fastball was literally a mile per hour slower, his cut fastball was a mile per hour slower. You're registering that too late, and all of a sudden it goes from the middle of the plate to your knuckles, and you're now like, all right, if I don't get my hands in now, I'm going to get hurt. Not even just am I going to make contact? My life is in danger. I have to do something to stop it from happening. And, guys were taking crazy swings because they were just trying to fight it off. I mean, guys were going through bats, 2-3 bats in a bat.
Wow.
Because of that fastball. And that's what made him so devastating because the ball was going, it was an identical pitch. It was an identical release point. But the last second is where you get that little cut, a little break. And it's hard to register if they're coming at the same speed.
Well, wait, Bill, how can the ball do something different partway through the arc that it's taking? How's that even possible?
Well, so the description...
the ball doesn't just stop. I mean, there was a Bugs Bunny where...
One of the all-time sporting legends.
Yes.
Where the pitcher throws the slow ball and the ball just kind of wiggles and jiggles and stops and continues. So that's, of course, a cartoon extreme of this. But is DJ describing an impression of what the ball is doing rather than what the ball is actually doing?
So to give credit where credit is due, Robert Adair, the physics of baseball, talked about this being the same phenomenon observed by two different people. So your point of view is what's producing this. So as the ball's coming toward the plate, not only is it, as soon as you let go of it, it's slowing down because of air. The air is slowing it down. But it's also falling. And so if you can get it to slow down and fall in a different way by changing how fast it's going when it leaves your hand and changing where you aim it, it appears to the batter to be moving across the plate, but it's moving
horizontally across the plate.
Sorry, well said. And so it's always doing that. It's just changing the rate at which it's doing that. And you guys, when you start getting in the most difficult thing ever in sports, I mean, I don't know. I watch hockey players do what baseball players do backwards and on ice skates. So I'm open-minded.
No, except, wait, Bill, most of the time the puck is on the ice. So that reduces one of the degrees of freedom of how and where you find it before you hit it.
Oh, it's
whereas
the
the ball being
most of the
pitched can move in
time.
all dimensions.
Neil, it's the most of the time that makes it really difficult. No, modern hockey players lift the puck all the time.
They lift the puck.
But you're hitting a spherical object with a round bat.
So as the saying goes, and
Yes.
you're a soccer player, the ball is round.
Mm-hmm.
The ball
But
is round,
I would
is
use
round.
a larger surface area, a flatter area, whether it's the side of my foot, either outside or inside, or the instep, which is a larger surface area to make contact with the ball.
But isn't it an old saying that the ball is round, anything can happen?
Well, let me get to that. Just before we take a break, Bill, give me like your most succinct comment on on what a fraction of an inch difference contact with the ball makes.
Certainly
for
on
the
the
fate of the
order-
ball after it leaves the bat.
It's on the order of a few sheets of paper.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking
the thickness
5 or
of it.
6 thousandths of an inch. Yeah. So you can, if you're a human, and a lot of your viewers are. You can feel the difference between 2 thousandths and 4 thousandths without much difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
But that much difference will make a tremendous difference in the flight of the ball.
So it's an exaggeration to even say a fraction of an inch. It's even like a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of an inch.
Yeah. This is the charm. But think about this, people. This is something that always.
Wait. But that means the big sluggers, the successful home run hitters, can decide in a little fraction of a second whether they're going to swing a round stick, make contact with a round ball, and hit the ball 450 feet. That's
I've
spooky.
seen it. It's weird.
But don't forget, Neil, you're adding history of their one-to-one confrontations into the mix, not just what's this guy dialing up in this moment. What has this guy dialed up to me in the past at certain moments in a match, in a game? So there's a whole lot. I mean, DJ trashed me down on this one.
A lot of a lot of educated guessing. So that does come down to, they have books on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Usually rookies have a good go first couple times through because they don't know.
No one knows them yet.
Doesn't know what the ball looks like when it comes off. When you start getting used to seeing somebody throw a ball, and that's why nowadays most starters don't make it through 3 rounds of 9. So they usually only go 2.5, because by that time, that third time, I've seen him. I know what his pitch is. I know where he's throwing me. I know what he's trying. I know his plan. So, like the good pitchers nowadays don't make it 9 innings because of the fact that the hitters are actually, there's so much more, math, and they're coming in. Trust me, I'm not trying. I'm an athlete as well, but they're not coming in going, I got it. And it's the fact that there are people down there actually giving them information, like books of it. Like, hey, you just, last time he got you out on this, watch for this first pitch. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now I'm looking curveball first pitch. I know curveball's coming. If it's in my hitting zone, I'm going to take the best swing possible and see how hard I can hit this thing. And that's where
you preload the precision of what you're doing. And of
because
course, even great home run hitters strike out more often than they hit a home run. So
right, because of the bat angle that they're taking, but that's besides the point. I think a lot of the guys are striking out now because of the bat angles and how they're changing it. Their degrees of upward swing is changing how consistent people are hitting the ball. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, back when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, it was, 300 was it. You wanted to bat 300. Now you got guys that are in the lineups batting 217 with 40 home runs, and they're all right. Well, he's a home run, and every kid wants to be him. But what about the guy that's batting 340, like a DJ LeMahieu? That he hits the ball all over the place, but then he hits a little dribble up the middle, scores 2 runs, and everybody's like, well, he could have hit it out, but he didn't. Like that's not baseball. I mean,
well, that's a whole other influence
average
going on
is
there.
a player.
Yeah. So when we come back, more Star Talk Sports Edition, The Physics of Baseball with Bill Nye.
So you're ready to earn your degree, but you need a university that works with your schedule. Well, WGU and their programs are built to be flexible. WGU offers a quality degree program that's affordable and even makes it possible to graduate faster. Plus, you can earn a respected bachelor's or master's degree for under $8,700 per year, fees included. That's right, you heard me. That is the correct, $8,700 per year. Let your experience and dedication help you earn your degree faster. See what WGU's competency-based programs can offer you. With no set login times and 24/7 access to most coursework, you can really earn a respected bachelor's or master's degree on your own schedule. The low tuition rate covers as many courses as you can complete each term. That means the faster you learn, the more you'll save. Get your $65 application fee waived at wgu.edu/StarTalk. That's wgu.edu/StarTalk for your $65 application fee. Poof, gone, waived.
We're back. Star Talk Sports Edition, The Physics of Baseball. Got my longtime friend Bill Nye, who thinks, if you didn't know this man thinks and breathes baseball. He's a student of baseball, as we might say. And I also brought in someone from the trenches, DJ Price, a former trainer of mine who moved to Florida to coach baseball. In fact, he coached while he was here in New York. And so he knows some insides and outs. And each of you are here to keep each other honest about what you say about the sport. But I want to take this segment and start thinking about the air, the texture of the air, the humidity in the air pressure, and how do these other factors, these climactic factors, influence either the pitch, the hit, the fielders? And so, Bill, what can you tell me about humidity in baseball?
Well, consider the following. Air is mostly nitrogen, and nitrogen is what, everyone? Diatomic, exactly. So it has nitrogen travels around.
I concur.
Nitrogen travels around with two nitrogen molecules hooked together.
N2, you got it.
And so I guess two in Greek is di, so diatomic. Deus, it's Latin, deus, deos, it was two. All right. So that means there's 7 protons, 7 neutrons. That's 14 atomic units for mass units for each atom, and you end up at 28. All right.
You have two atoms.
Two atoms. H2O, oxygen's 8. That's 16 atomic mass units each there, and then just 1 atomic mass unit with hydrogen. The air is less dense. The ball.
Right, just to be clear, you're not. I mean, I hate to be sort of pedantic
Bill,
about it.
You're talking so fast about it.
You're not. You're displacing it rather than replacing it, because that other molecule is still there somewhere.
Oh yes,
it just got pushed
it's
aside.
in another part of North America, or Japan,
exactly,
or Venezuela.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it wedged its way in to create the humidity
on a humid day.
Experience. Okay, now
on
so
a
what?
humid day, some water molecules are nudging aside some nitrogen molecules. Well, they're nudging aside some argon and xenon and all these other happy molecules, or atoms in some cases. But water molecules are less massive than nitrogen molecules. And most of air is nitrogen, 70% or so. So when a ball is going through the air that's humid, it's pushing aside atoms that are less massive. It can travel faster and farther through a humid air day than a cold, dry day. And this is so not trivial. This is so noticeable in baseball, especially, and cricket especially, where you're hitting the ball and it's flying at 100 miles an hour, pushing aside air molecules. If they're less massive, it goes farther.
And now that seems like, if we follow this line of reasoning, that if you go to a mile-high stadium where there's just simply less air,
right,
because air pressure is lower, that doubles down on this effect, presumably.
Yeah, it's a true fact, not a false fact, as I whimsically remark.
So you should be able to plot home runs per altitude of stadium, and it should go up.
So Coors Field in Denver, right?
Yeah.
The home of the Rockies. They, I think, beginning of the 21st century, introduced a humidor, the sort of thing you have for your cigars.
Yes.
All my cigars are in a humidor.
There you go. So that then, because of the yarn inside the ball, it allows the yarn to absorb a little more moisture and therefore kind of damps it down. Is that what you're thinking there?
Wait, what you're saying, they put the ball in a humidor, not the stadium in a humidor.
Correct.
Right.
That's a rather large humidor if you start the stadium.
So Bill, right, the humidity gets into everything. So if I have a crisp ball moving through humid air, I get it. But if my ball is kind of mushy because it sat in a humid environment, then what?
So the ball doesn't go off the bat as strongly, as fast. The height it would bounce.
Okay, so it's a mitigating factor on the humidity that would otherwise make it go farther.
Yeah. So when the Rockies first started playing, it was just home run, home run, home run.
Yeah.
Long hit, long hit, long hit. But they had this innovation. They get the balls humid, and it slows them down a little bit.
Why is that? Why do they want to do that?
So
everybody likes home runs.
Well, the game became complicated in that all the strategy, all the tactics that a pitcher, where infielders would stand, the batter's approach to the ball, everything was changed by the ball traveling so much farther, swinging it about as hard. Also, the pitchers had much more difficulty causing the ball to curve or change, but then they could throw it faster. So these two things. So the thing about baseball that everybody's kooky for is every pitch is a statistic. Every pitch is a datum in the great pantheon of baseball record keeping. I don't know if that's a pantheon, the great record books of record keeping. And so they made adjustments. Annals. Mm-hmm. They made adjustments to make the statistics more meaningful when you're playing in Denver. And, people, when you play baseball...
I see what you're saying. Otherwise, it's just a free-for-all.
Well, the word free-for-all, it changes the statistics for the home team. It changes the statistics for the visiting team in a way
the Yankees had all these great left-handed sluggers, and they made the right field fence 296 feet.
Yeah.
So that's... Yeah. So how many Babe Ruth home runs dropped in at 298 feet on the right field line?
Okay,
wait.
right.
DJ, do you guys actively know that humid air, the ball goes farther when you hit it? Is that an actively known thing?
It's not something that I'm thinking from a scientific perspective, but I'd rather hit a baseball in June and July than in September and October. That much I do know.
Oh, okay. So somehow it's in the psychology of what you would. Okay, it's worked its way into you.
I always say baseball players are probably the smartest physicists that don't know it because we're always thinking about stuff like that, but we don't know what we're thinking about from a scientific perspective.
Because naively you would think, humid air is heavy and you're thinking, but Bill Nye just explained that away, right? Yeah. It's not a matter of how
it's
heavy
a different,
it is.
When you hit a ball in October and September, late September in the North, it's uncomfortable. And it doesn't feel the same way in July. And most of the places you go to in July and June, it's pretty hot. So, I used to love come down here.
Reggie Jackson, Mr. October, was such a significant. It was more than just it's World Series season. It's October.
Yeah, and
the air is cold and crisp and all that goes with the autumn.
It's a different game. I mean, and even looking from a West Coast, East Coast kind of thing. Even down south in Florida. I mean, we would come down here for spring training from New York, and it was like, oh wow, you can just feel it. The ball's going to go further. You're going to throw it a little harder. You're going to run a little faster.
You just feel it. So you're the unsuspecting physicist, just like you said. That's great. I love that. So Gary, offline, you were telling us you had a question about global warming affecting this. Why don't you hand that to Bill?
Okay, Bill. So we've record temperatures in Death Valley this year, something like 130 plus Fahrenheit.
But I think we should build a stadium in Death Valley, which is very, very high air pressure because it's very low elevation, and then curveballs would be amazing.
Yeah, there might be a problem in the field.
Yeah, and also, the game depends not this year, but generally on fans coming to the stadium.
Okay.
And
And if it's 105 degrees, that's another drawback.
Yeah.
I get that. But holding aside those complications,
You
that
could
would be a curveball thrower's dream.
The
a
ball
stadium
player
at the
from
bottom of Death
29
Valley.
Palms, 29 guys. So, as the world gets warmer, the air gets warmer and less dense, and we will expect the ball to go farther.
So, Bill, as the world gets warmer, warmer air is thinner.
Right. There's fewer molecules per cubic meter or what have you.
Okay, A. And B, if the world gets warmer, we are evaporating more moisture and keeping more moisture in the air.
Gets more humid.
Is it true that the air in general would be more humid?
Yeah. I mean, that's my certainly first cut at it. That's what I would expect. Yeah.
Okay, so we have two reasons why in a global warmed Earth, baseball will have more home runs.
Yeah. Yeah. And more extra base hits and also higher pitch speeds. And the faster the pitcher throws it and you make contact, the farther the ball would go.
If you make contact.
Let the pitcher do the work.
Many of us have seen sort of strobe photos of a golf ball getting hit, and you see the golf ball collapsing and then recoiling. Do you know how much a baseball? I remember when I was a kid and I unraveled a baseball. It was one of the happiest moments of my life. I said, "Wow! I just discovered that there's like rubber inside, and then there's like a candy thing in the center." It was just this.
Like Tootsie Roll.
I felt like with Tootsie Roll Pop, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
I felt like I was the first person discovering this. Do you know how much a baseball deforms?
So the ball compresses a surprising amount. Like imagine if you could grip a baseball and squeeze it with your index finger and middle finger so that your index and middle finger were fully submerged in the surface of the ball. That's about how much it compresses. It's really surprising.
Part of the distance is the ball restoring to its shape. So the ball is in a way propelling itself in the aftermath of that.
Well,
collapse.
when you jump off a trampoline, is the trampoline propelling you or is it you? Well, the answer is both. You're storing energy in the ball and the ball.
Or in the springs of the trampoline.
So how long does it take? What sort of timeline are we looking at here from impact, deformation, and then returning to its original shape?
About 1,000th of a second.
That long?
Not 100th. Much less, way less tan that.
If it were 100th of a second, Gary, I think you would see that in their high-speed replays.
Yeah.
1,000th of a second is not catching that.
Yeah.
It has to return quite quickly because it won't fly, obviously, as well.
Right. The act of returning off the surface of the bat, it gives it, propels it forward, like Bill said, is the impulse, which is a physics term.
I think they've
Bill,
shown some pictures of that, like of contact where the ball gets deformed and almost envelopes itself over the bat. It's wild.
Yeah, it's really surprising.
What sort of velocities are we talking about, DJ, for a bat? If we've got a real power hitter, what sort of speed is this bat meeting the ball?
Well, let me ask that another way. If the ball leaves the bat at 105 miles an hour, does that mean I hit the ball at 105 miles an hour? Is my bat moving at 105? Can the ball go faster than the speed with which I swung the bat?
That's a question for Bill.
Yeah. So the famous, this from a famous, wonderful science teacher demonstration. You get a basketball and a tennis ball. And
the double bump.
The double bump.
I love it.
Yes. So go ahead, Neil, describe it to the listener.
May I? No, but you started it, but I would so delight in describing this. Okay. So we've actually had to calculate this in physics class because the result is unbelievable. You see it and you say, I don't believe it. And then you calculate it. And then the calculation shows that's what must happen. If you take a large ball and a small ball on top of it. Okay. So the large ball has to be much bigger than the small ball. So it could be a basketball and like a marble or
a marble is pretty good, but you can use a baseball, or you can use
or baseball. That's fine.
A tennis ball is the traditional thing.
Something much bigger than that ball. So take a basketball and a baseball. Sure. So drop one by itself, and it'll come up to a certain height. Drop the other by itself. It'll come up to a certain height. Take the smaller ball, hold it just above the big ball, and drop them simultaneously.
The other traditional thing is a little strip of double stick tape or a loop of tape, so that the ball is, as you drop it, it stays kind of stays.
Right. So there they are. As they drop, what happens is the bottom ball hits first, recoils off the ground, goes upward, and hits the small ball, which is itself coming in and then doubling back off of its own recoil as well as the basketball's recoil. And it goes up 9 times as high.
Yeah,
It'll go through the roof.
Wow.
The traditional thing is a basketball and tennis ball. And so the basketball is so much more massive than the tennis ball. When its momentum is transferred to the tennis ball, it changes into this, it is manifested as a high change in speed of the tennis ball.
And it's basically launched.
Yeah, it's cool.
It goes 50 feet in the air. I mean, it's a striking experiment that
Pun
you do
intended.
right in beginning physics. Okay, so I like that.
Well, the baseball, you guys, is all so-called classical physics. There's no.
That's what I said,
relativity.
Newtonian physics, and you got all mad at me for saying that.
I didn't really get mad. If you're a baseball coach, I don't know how much people respond to.
I'm
Newtonian
using all of
fluids.
this today. All of it.
All right, guys, we got to land this plane. Thank you, Bill Nye. Do you still go by Science Guy, or is that an occasional moniker?
Yes, it's trademarked, people. Don't make me come over there.
Excuse me.
Thank you, Gary, DJ, Neil. Thanks for having me on.
We're all
Pleasure,
here.
Bill.
And DJ, always good to have you co-host.
Pleasure's mine.
DJ, it's great to have you back on this.
Yeah, man, it's good seeing you again.
I hope you enjoy Florida.
I
Crazy
am.
people, we all
It's great.
agree, crazy people.
Stay well,
live in Florida.
DJ.
Playing a lot of golf. It's very enjoyable here.
You got it. All right, I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, your personal astrophysicist. As always, bidding you to keep looking up.
With Masterclass, you can learn from the world's best minds anytime, anywhere, at your own pace. Learn how to ace your opponent from Serena. Improve your writing skills with Neil Gaiman. Learn how to negotiate with Chris Voss. All right, those were the courses I chose, but you'll have over 90 classes to make your own choice, and they're all taught by world-class instructors. Now, of course, the master instructor, Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, has a masterclass of his own on scientific thinking and communication, and we all know how important that is in these times. I'm not the only one who's benefiting from my masterclass. My brother is an avid tennis player, and I sent him the gift of a subscription so he could get schooled by Serena. Did I tell him that it was a part of my subscription? Well, let's just say the answer rhymes with ho, ho, ho. From learning how to write anything from a book to a screenplay to communicating with your boss to how to make dinner worthy of a Michelin star or just the best scrambled eggs this side of a jumpy chicken, there's a master class for you. I'm in the middle of a course on sex and communication because I'm good at one of those things. Masterclass is accessible on your phone, web, or smart TV. You can get an annual membership to Masterclass and give one to someone else for free. Get unlimited access to every Masterclass for you and a friend right now. Just go to masterclass.com/StarTalkRadio. That's masterclass.com/StarTalkRadio. Masterclass.com/StarTalkRadio.